wonderful day. You are welcome to White Coat Diaries on Tech TV. My name is Malfomo Amuzu Ajo. Don't forget, White Coat Diaries is brought to you by the Health Science Student Association and Science Student Association, all of KNUST, and of course the University Hospital. Our proud sponsor is ICCUP, the very best nutritional yogurt you can ever get on campus KNUST and the entire Ashanti region. On today's episode of White Coat Diaries, we are treating STDs, and we have a rep from PPAJ to make this discussion a fruitful one. But before we get on, we want to view what viewers have to say on this topic. So stay tuned.
Hello, my name is Lydia, and you?
Emmanuel.
Are you on campus?
Oh yeah, I'm on campus.
Okay, have you heard of STD?
Oh yeah, I have. Sexual transmitted disease, yeah.
Okay, so what is STD?
I know they are diseases someone gets through sex.
Okay, through sex.
Yeah.
So whenever you're about to have sex with your lady, what comes to your mind?
That one, you don't actually think about condoms and that. You're in a rush, you want to get into it, so just...
Like the body is kind of itching you, you're in a rush.
Yeah.
My name is Lydia, and you?
Millicent.
Are you from this campus?
Yes, please.
Okay, what are the dangers in having sex?
I know one is that you can actually get sexually transmitted disease.
That's STDs, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what is STDs?
It's a disease one gets when the person has an intercourse with a partner who has already been affected.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I know. And it's mostly passed through sex, vaginal sex.
Okay, so have you tried it before?
No, please, I can't disclose that here.
Oh, why?
Oh, nothing. I'm just being private.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Welcome back. It's still White Coat Diaries, and my name is Malfomo Amuzu Ajo. As I said earlier, we are treating STDs today, and we have a rep from PPAG to make this episode an educational one. And he is in the person of Mr. Anthony Sappho. Welcome, Mr. Anthony Sappho.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
In very short time, can you please tell us what PPAG is all about?
Okay, so PPAG is a short form of Planned Parenthood Association of Ghana. And then currently PPAG is the leading NGO, that's a non-governmental organization in the provision of sexual and reproductive health and services. So actually we have clinics all over Ghana that give services to those who are having infections. We give counseling, we give advice to any other person who needs advice. So currently PPAG is the leading NGO in such endeavor, and actually we go to villages, we go to places where there is no such services, people need such advice, and then we give them such advice in order for them to have a holistic sexual being. And currently we have two sections of PPAG. That's the YAM Youth Action Movement, and then we have the Adult Volunteers. So I'm here in that capacity as the Youth Action Movement, the vibrant youth coming together to help solve the sexual health problems we have in our society.
So that makes you the very best person for this topic, STDs.
Yes, we know the youth and we understand the youth in that capacity.
That's right.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of talks on STDs, and it looks like STDs have a wide range of history. It dates back as far as 1494. So what exactly is STD, or what are STDs?
Yes, as you rightly said, we were having infections back in our days.
Okay.
So some ancient time, people are having infections, and actually they were attributing it to witches and some myths and all that. But currently we realize that through research, we've come out to realize that such instances might be STDs and other illnesses that science has helped out to get cure, and then some other ones to manage it. So basically, STDs are a section of RTI, that is a reproductive tract infection, which is caused by sexual activities. And currently, if you are talking about RTIs, you are looking at infections that affect us in the reproductive system. So any infections that come in our reproductive system, we can call it
an STD.
Yes, an STD. That's in the broader picture, the RTI. So basically, STDs are infections that we attain or we get through sexual activities, and then it affects our reproductive system and organs. So in a short note, that's what STDs are.
Sexually transmitted disease.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So what is responsible, or what are the causes of STDs in people?
Yes, STDs can be caused by, in a broad perspective, you can look about three issues. One has to do with untreated materials that we use for abortion procedures and other health-related procedures. For example, somebody goes to the clinic or any health facility and the person needs services. There's materials or the equipment used on the person can cause infections. Probably if it has been used on an infected person, the person coming afresh can also be their sicknesses can be transferred to that person. So through that, somebody can get STDs. And then looking at also some things that we do, mostly for the young ladies, where they put so many things in their vagina with a notion or with a mentality that the place will be tighter, hobechi and those stuff. People, it will interest you to know that people put ice block, ginger, pepper and all those things there. In a way, you are distorting the natural enzymes, the natural mechanism that go on there. So in a way, you are bringing upon distortions in that setting, and it will cause or let you be prone to sexually transmitted infection. So basically, it is called by these three broad categories.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. So that should presume there are types of STDs.
Yes.
Okay, so can you enlighten us on that?
Yes, actually there are various types. And then looking at types, you're looking at STD that are caused by virus, STDs that are caused by bacteria, STDs that are caused by fungi and all that. If you are looking at the viral STDs, then we are looking at HIV, we are looking at hepatitis B, and the rest. And then let me also state that those viral STDs currently has no cure. Unless, yes, viral STDs don't have a cure currently as we are talking. And then it can just be managed. So we talk about that during the treatment section. And then we have the bacterial infections. Can have, currently people are giving so many names to it. People call it gonorrhea, white, blue, green, and all that. So many colors. But then those infections, those fluid that come out of some vagina and some penises, all those are caused by bacteria and fungi. So basically, through their causative organisms, we can have such types: the virus, the fungi, the bacteria, and the rest. So those are the broad categorization of the types of STIs that we have.
Okay. Would love to go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the effects or the contradictions of STD. So stay tuned. You are welcome back to White Coat Diaries. My name is Malfomo Amuzu Ajo. Before we left, we were about to talk about the complications or the effects of STDs. So, Mr. Safo, what are the complications or the effects of STDs?
Yeah, so actually, if the person gets the infection, that's the STI, and it's not treated or it's not looked at, then the person moves on to get a complication, and that will be referred to as the STDs, that are the sexually transmitted diseases. So if the person gets infections and the person is treated, it's gone. But if it gets complicated, then we have the STDs. And then with these, we can have if STDs are not treated well, then if you look at syphilis and gonorrhea and all that, it will lead to discharges from the sexual organ, in the male from your penis, and then in the female from your vagina. So all these discharges in the latent stage will lead to smell and bad odor at that particular side of your human makeup. And then if it's not treated well too, we are looking at syphilis causing blindness.
Okay.
Syphilis can cause blindness, and other STIs also can cause mind disorder. It will eat into the brain and cause disorder. So basically we are having consequences of not treating STI, being these skin rashes, being getting complications in your sexual organ, and basically in males it can cause infertility. Likewise females, it can as well cause infertility in males and females, but for the females it can cause inflammatory in your pelvic system. So you can have inflammation in your pelvic area, and it will cause you to probably not be able to give birth. And then the ultimate is death. For example, STIs will let you have brain damages. It will lead to so much complication that if you still don't take care of it, then you are leading to your grave. So that's how serious STDs are. Yes.
So amongst men and women, who is much more affected by STDs?
Yes, I would say that women, in the sense that let's take the makeup of the female reproductive system. In a way, coat is opened, and then it's prone to getting infections and all that. So if we are talking about who is at risk, let me say at more risk in this interview, at more risk to getting STIs, then I'll say women. But then we are not closing our eyes on the men. They are also at risk to getting infections. And I would say that even in sexual intercourse, most of the position that we do in sexuality is that the female is down and then the male is up. Looking at how something comes down and then something climb up to the male, something that is coming down will be quite faster than something that is climbing up. So in a way, we can say that if you are looking at who is at most risk of getting STIs and then STDs, then we can talk about the woman or the female who is at the most risk. Yes.
That's
yes.
fine. That's fine. So are there symptoms of STDs that we can talk of?
Yes. I'll talk about the signs and symptoms.
Okay.
You know, symptoms are the normal fever, headaches, and all that. But then let's talk about the signs. The signs are you can see them with your eyes. The signs, one of them has to do with discharges from the vagina and then from the penis. So if you wake up in the morning and realize that there is this creamish white discharges, it's not a semen, it's not a seminal fluid, it's just some slimy liquid discharges. And at times in guys, you realize that you can't even pull your boxers, it's stuck like that. Then you realize that there are doing some discharges that you have to take notice of. And then if you realize that there's too much itchiness around your genitals, so most guys who put their hands in their pockets, it's not like they are pulling something out. Actually, they are doing some scratching down there. So if you are finding so much itchiness down there, then you are looking at possibility of you getting STIs. And then you can realize that there will be boils and lumps around your genitals. And if these boils and lumps are not taken care, it can open up and form blisters. And then you can see some sores actually around your genitals. So if you are looking at those instances, then it's likely that you've gotten yourself infected with an STI. And then in ladies, they might also realize that there is blood coming out of their vagina, though they are not in their monthly blood flow. So if you see something like that, then it's likely that there is some infections ongoing in your genitals that you have to take particular notice of. So currently, those are the common signs that you can see on our genitals, and it will prompt us that there is something going wrong that we have to take particular notice of. Yes.
That brings me to the question of whether one can contract STDs aside from sexual activities.
Yes, we are talking about, we've cited an example of HIV, we cited example of syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and all that as types or examples of STDs. Let me also say that HIV is not only gotten from sexual activities. There are other means of getting HIV. You can get yourself get infected with HIV, even just coming into contact with an infected blood. In hospitals, they don't have sex, but then if a nail accidentally pierces you from an infected person, you get yourself HIV. So in a way that we are saying all these are examples of STIs. Somebody can get it even without having sexual intercourse. So yes, it's possible that people get STIs, the fungal infected causative STIs. You get it probably from unsafe urinal or lavatory or something like that. You can get something from STI from those instances. Okay. So in a whole, somebody can get STIs without necessarily involving themselves in sexual activities.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that should bring us to looking out for preventions for STDs. What are the preventive measures we can use to curb STDs?
Yes, we want to adopt the ABCD approach. The A has to do with abstinence. Okay. So you abstain from any sexual activity. Abstain from anything that can be termed as a sexual activity. You know, people, some guys and some ladies of this current time, they say they are abstaining. But looking at what they do, even surprises me. Abstain, then you abstain from any form of sexual activity. And then we have another option, that's being faithful. And here I want to stress that you can be faithful, but then you have to be faithful to a faithful partner. If your partner is not also faithful, regardless of the fact that you are faithful, you still get infections. So here we are stressing that being faithful to a faithful partner. And then the C has to do with consistent and correct use of condoms.
Constant, consistent.
Yes, and correct use of condoms. Some people use condoms, but it's not correct. They don't use it correctly, though it's consistent. And some people use it correctly, but it's not consistent. So we are stressing that if you want to go by the C approach of prevention of STDs, HIV inclusive, then you go with the correct, consistent use of condoms. And then the D has to do with early detection. So if you are seeing all these signs and symptoms in your genitals, some itchiness and all that, some feverish, and your body is not too well, you think there's something wrong, kindly go to the health facility. You'll be checked upon, and if there's any signs of or there's any infections, they will look at it and then help you with the treatment. So the early detection is also very, very important. Yeah, so basically that's how best we can prevent STDs. Yes.
Okay. We are in our last minutes of today's show, but before we go, I would love to ask you what would be your last word to our viewers.
Yes, I want to say that, you know, I want to tell viewers that, especially the youth, that their future is in their own hands. Okay. Their holistic sexual being is in their own hands. They can't just do other things that are not too well and then they still get themselves with good health. If they want to stay healthy, then they should live healthy. They should have information about the sexual and reproductive system, and then they can have such healthy individual or healthy personality. I want to also add that from current research, we realize that though we are talking about preventive measures and all that, some youth are still not being on the preventive measures. And then one particular outcome or finding that we found was that some youth don't think they are having sex. For example, if you go to this LGBT community, some people indulge themselves in anal sex, some people indulge themselves in other forms of sex. Let me state emphatically that they are all forms of sex, and if you indulge yourself in those activities, you stand a chance of getting yourself infected. Another finding that we realized was that people are in a way not having much information. Those who are still having, they don't have the adequate information in that regard. People know how to use condom, but how best do they use them? So I want to say that they should take their future in their own hands. Some organizations are pushing that the youth should be put first. I always say that for you to be put first, you have to be relevant, you have to be resourceful, you have to prove yourself worthy of putting first. So in a way, the youth should be worthy of putting first, and they will be put first in every endeavor that they do. HIV is still real, and AIDS is still in the system. So let's get ourselves protected. Thank you.
Thank you. On the flip side, I have a quote by Josh Billings, and it reads, "Health is like money. We never have a true idea of its value until we lose it." Thank you so much, Mr. Anthony Safu, for making the show. And I want to thank my crew for such the great setup, and I want to also thank IEC Cup for sponsoring this episode of White Coat Diaries. And of course, I want to thank you for watching White Coat Diaries. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Tech TV GH, and of course watch us on YouTube at Tech TV Live. My name is Malfomo Amuzu Ajo. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.